everyone, welcome to today's video. This video is going to be my favorite shade in the palette. I saw Georgia Harris doing this video a while ago. I think she did it as like a collab tag type of thing. And I just thought it would be fun to do it as well. So credits go to Georgia and her partner, who I forgot who it was, but I will make sure to link their original videos down below. And what they did was randomly select 20 different eyeshadow palettes and talk you through each shade in that palette that they love the most. So I didn't really go into this thinking, oh, this needs to be like a cohesive look or anything. I will be swatching them all out on my arm for you. And we're currently in the far corner of my office because it's the only part of the room that doesn't have a lot of sunlight. So that's why we're doing it this way. And the first palette that I would like to show you is Kat Von D's Metamorphosis. Of course, Kat Von D is currently a little out of favor with people, and this has also been discontinued. And when I bought this, I really got it for this orange shade here. But as I've been using it, my favorite shade has become this pinky shade here. It's like a rose gold. So that's the shade right there. It's a really nice sort of like rosy, peachy undertone with like, it's just a really nice all over the lid shade, and I really enjoy this one. So that's the first one. Then I also picked the NYX The Perfect Filter eyeshadow palette in the shade Olive You, and I really got this. It really has like subculture vibes, you could say, and my favorite shade in this palette is this like very sort of light shimmery green. So it's a little bit more on the sheer side. And that's it right there. It's definitely like a golden toned, olivey kind of like greeny shade, very light, really nice in the inner corner or also all over the lid. Then of course we couldn't do this video without also including some Vice palettes, or at least some Urban Decay. I went with the Vice 3 first of all. I could have done this entire video just with Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes, which I wouldn't do because I already did an Urban Decay eyeshadow palette video not too long ago. So I was like, I want to feature something else in there. And this is the Vice 3. And I know that everybody really loves like this quad right here, like the pinks and purples. I really like that too. But in terms of like one shade that I love in this palette, it's the green one right here called Dragon. And there we have Dragon swatch. But that is the green from the Urban Decay Vice. I also really liked a shade that most people hate from the Juvia's Place Magic palette. So there is one, like this has so many gorgeous shades, like this entire palette could like be in this video. But the one that I really like is this one right here, which is like it's not a blue, it's not a purple, but it's like sort of like in between. It's called Ife, I'm not sure. It's a very difficult shade to work with because it's just not very much, it's not very easy to blend, I should say, but it has such a great color to it. So there's that Juvia's Place shade, and it's a little bit like difficult. It's a bit tough as well when you swatch it, but I feel that it blends or it builds up really nicely, and I really like this like on the lower lash line, like a little smudger brush. Smudge it onto the lower lash line and then a little bit more to smoke it out. It's really stunning. Now an eyeshadow palette that I think a lot of people hated was this one, which is the Too Faced White Chocolate Bar. And I really wanted to feature it in this video because it has one of my favorite Too Faced shades. Normally, I'm not a big fan of like the super chunky glittery shade that they do, but this one, it's called Sugared Raisin. It's so stunning. It needs a tacky base to really stick down, but it has such a great shade to it. So there you have Sugared Raisin. It has so much shine. It's so pretty all over the lid. It's just a really nice sort of pinky, taupey, silvery, sparkly shade. It's really nice, cool toned. If you have fair skin like me, this is an absolutely stunning shade. Another Juvia's Place palette that I wanted to feature in here is the Nubian 2. I really like the jewel tones that are in here, so that's also one that I will be featuring. And I am really much taken by Egypt here in the corner. It's a really nice green again. It has like a golden sheen to it. Look at that pigment. It's so rich in color. It has a really nice deep green jewel tone to it. It's just a stunning shade. A palette that I think a lot of people like is the Anastasia Mono Renaissance. Mine doesn't look very much used because I don't use it a whole lot. But when I use this, I always go for like the same 3 shades, which are the reds and berries. And my favorite one of these 3 has to be Venetian Red. That's such a unique shade. It's like in between a red and a pink, I would say. I really like Venetian Red, like smoked out all over the lash line with a bit of red ochre in the crease. Like really like this blown out, not like necessarily the best look if you are very prone to having like pink eye or that reds make your eyes look like you've been sick. This doesn't do that for me because it has just enough of like something else to it that it really doesn't do that for me. So I really like Venetian Red together with red ochre and love letter. I feel it makes a very nice like berry eye for the fall time. Then we have a Stila palette here. And again, these Stila palettes I feel not enough people talk about. This is the Eyes Are the Window of the Spirit, and this is what it looks like. And my favorite shade in this palette is this gray. It's like a blue toned, like smoky gray. So if I swatch this for you. So as you can see, it's definitely a gray, but it has like a hint of blue to it. And that really, really amps up this shade. This is one of my favorite shades to use in the smoky eye. And then the only other Urban Decay palette that we'll be featuring in this video, just so you know, the Vice 2. Everyone's favorite shade in this is this silver. Oh, I'm blinding you here. So everyone's favorite shade in this palette is the silver here, which I have to say I also really, really like. In terms of a silver, it's one of the best ones. But my favorite shade is Stash, which is right here. And again, it's like an olivey, goldeny green shade. So then if we swatch it, you can see that it's like not as jewel toned as the Juvia's Place one. And it's definitely not as bright as the Vice 3 one. Like Dragon is like a really nice poppy, bright green. Whereas Stash is like a very murky, like a khaki shade almost. It's like an army green khaki shade with lots of really nice golden sparkle to it. So that's why Stash is my favorite one from the Vice 2. I also wanted to feature some of my luxury eyeshadow palettes in this. I don't talk about these enough on my channel, I think. But that's because they're kind of special to me, and some of them I've had for quite some time, so I don't really think you can get them anymore. And 9 out of 10 times I buy a little Chanel and Dior eyeshadow palettes when they're like limited edition, so it's not really something that you can talk about all the time. A limited edition, I think this came out not like last year or maybe the year before that, is this little palette by Chanel. This is in the shade Road Movie, and it still has a little things in here. It has some really, really nice like teal shades, especially this one. I love this. This is why I bought the palette, and I think that Chanel, in terms of quality, has really stepped up their eyeshadow game in recent years. I used to love Dior more, and now I like the Chanel formula better than the Dior one. And there you have that shade. And teals, if you have brown eyes like I do, and they're not like fully brown, my eyes have a hint of green to them, so technically they're like a really deep hazel. If I wear like the right kind of shades with them, they can pull a little bit more green, and a shade like this, like a teal, really does that. Sticking to luxury then, a Dior palette. Again, this was limited edition. I think this is called Graphic Lights. It's an all pink palette, which I bought when I first got into makeup and didn't really know what to do with it. But this has some really, really cool pink shades. I really like this salmon pink shade. It's a very sort of light, peachy, pinky shade. You will see it's a very nice, bright shade. It's very similar, well, not in tone, but it does something very similar to me as the Sugar Raisin shade from the Too Faced palette did. It's really nice and brightening. I can use this all over the lid or in the inner corner. It's just a really versatile shade, and something like this just really brightens up my eyes. Another pink shade that I love is from this palette. This was a limited edition holiday collection by The Body Shop. Not sure it has a name, no. The palette is called Grooving Gold. I think this was like 2 or 3 years ago that they did this. And again, I really like the pink here in the corner, so. This one, however, has a lot more gold to it. So as you can see, there we have the Body Shop shade. I think now that I'm looking at it, it's very similar to Kat Von D's Metamorphosis Rose Gold shade. This also has like that pink, peachy, goldeny undertone. I would say that the Kat Von D one is perhaps a little like more shiny. It's got a little bit more gold to it, I think, than this one does. And this is definitely a little bit smoother. and a little richer in pigment, but this is a very nice shade indeed. I also wanted to make sure I featured some affordable products, so I also have a sleek palette for you. This is the Calm Before the Storm palette. This was limited edition, you can no longer get this, oops. And this is what it looks like, and my favorite shade is this turquoise color. Oh, it's so, so stunning. It's really, really nice and bright, really nice and shiny. That's what it looks like. It's a very sort of light, bright color. Again, on the lower lash line, this just adds a really nice, like, poppy feel to an outfit, to a look, especially in the summertime. I like wearing these shades. Makeup Revolution then, also very affordable. Their Violet Chocolate palette is one of my favorites, and my favorite shade in the palette has to be this bright shade called Amethyst. Again, this is so, so stunning. Really nice all over the lid as an inner corner highlight, you name it. It's pretty versatile. So there you have that bright purpley shade. Now that I'm swatching it here next to that greeny shade, it pulls a bit more blue, so it seems to have like a blue shift to it almost. It's not really a duochrome though, but it has this like lavendery, bluey kind of undertone to it, which is very pretty. And I'm running out of space on this arm, so I'm going to have to continue here. Another Makeup Revolution palette I like is the Chocolate Mint. The Chocolate Mint I also have in the bigger size, but this is the mini version, so if you're like, ooh, I don't really like big palettes, then these little ones are really nice. And both of those palettes have like this, again, a teal, a very nice like tealy green shade. This is a little like more green than the Chanel one, Makeup Revolution one. So if you put it next to each other, can we do that? So this is the Chanel one right here. And then I put this next to it, and this is a little, ooh, I can't do this. This is a little bit more green, whereas the Chanel one pulls a little bit more blue. So we haven't talked much about neutrals, it seems, because I have quite a few colorful shades, but I wanted to feature the Nude palette. The only reason why I ever got this palette, really, is because of the shades right here in the middle. I really like that little grouping right there. And then especially Fit, which is another, you guessed it, rose gold. So this is another rose gold shade. What else is new? I seem to really like rose golds. So if I swatch this, again, it's a really nice rose gold, very similar to the Kat Von D and the Body Shop one. I think one of those three would have sufficed, but this one I really, really do enjoy. It's one of my favorite shades in that palette. It's the only reason I keep the palette around, truth be told. Some more quite affordable makeup. This really depends on how affordable it is, where you get it. Over here, it's quite affordable. I think these retail for around like 23 euros, which is not too bad. However, I bought a couple of my first Zoeva palettes when they were still $17.50, so they have definitely gone up in price. This is the En Taupe, which is a cool tone palette, and this is one that I feel a lot of people overlook because it seems very samey, and it is. It is a palette that you do need to pull in something extra to really make it work, but it has some really, really fun duochromes here. So my favorite one has to be Sheers and Voiles. So if I swatch that, it just looks like a gray shade also in the pan, but then when you swatch it, I'm not sure if you can see that. There you have Sheers and Voiles, and it doesn't really show up much, it seems. It is definitely more of like a topper almost, but it has, like, instead of being a silver, it pulls more pink almost, so it has like a pinky shift to it. Really, really stunning in the inner corner again, and one of my favorite shades, a very unique one. Another Zoeva palette, this is Blanc Fusion. This is not my favorite one by them. It is a good one though, especially if you are looking for something that has a bunch of neutral mattes, then this is a nice palette. But the one that I love the most is this one right here, Late Bloomer. It is like a, yeah, it's like a gold, and I'm not usually a fan of golds, but this one I love. So it's like a brassy gold. It's not really a bronze. It's not really a gold, but it has a really nice, stunning, like, shift to it. It's just a really, really stunning, again, very unique shade. So I feel that Zoeva has a couple of really nice shades in their palettes. And then a palette that I had to feature in here is Lorac Pro 3. This is one of my favorite neutral palettes if I don't know what to wear. This is one that I easily grab for. And guess which shade is my favorite? Rose Bronze. Another kind of like rose gold. I think this will again pull quite samey to the other ones that I have already swatched. But this seems to be a little bit more taupey. Yeah, so this has a little bit more, like this is a lot warmer than this one. So this is a bit more toned down, but again, it is a rose gold, and that just seems to be my favorite shade, I guess. And then finally, my favorite shade has to come from the Natasha Denona Lila palette. I don't think that these are worth their money, just to put that out there. But I do have to say that this particular palette, which is why I bought it, has a very interesting color scheme. I thought I was going to really love the purples on this side, but I ended up really liking this shade. I believe it's called Dragon Bite. Yes, that's what it's called. And it is like a, well, it is a duochrome. Let's just start there. It looks like a reddish brown, but then it has a green shift. It's so unique. It's a bit like Max Blue Brown pigment, but then instead of like brown going to blue, it's like a reddish brown going to green. But this is so stunning all over the lid, also smoked on the lower lash line. It has that reddish undertone. It's just a super unique shade. Looking at it right now, I think it actually looks quite similar to, what did I do after Juvia's and in between Stila? I'm not sure, but this shade right here, oh, that's Venetian Red from Anastasia. It has that same sort of vibe to it, but this has a sheen to it. So maybe I should pair those together. Put this all over the lid and then this on top for a little bit of extra interest. That could be quite nice. Can we see a pattern here? I think I can. Definitely rose gold is a thing here. I like my light, very neutrally pinky shades as well. Got a couple of those in here. I have some teals, some greens, some purples, and then a couple of like reddish shades as well, like berries almost. So yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag. Definitely not too many neutrals. In terms of neutrals, I just really like using those to like build up a look and then do something a little crazier on the lid or on the lower lash line. These are definitely the kind of shades that I pull in to like add a pop of color or anything like that. And some of these palettes that I just showed you, I definitely only keep around for like one shade because that's what I like going in for. So maybe I should just like try and depot them at some point in time. However, I once went through a depotting phase and then I ended up never using those eyeshadows again. So I'm a little bit iffy about depotting all of my stuff, but we'll see. So yeah, those are all of my favorite shade in a palette. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment down below because I would love to know what your favorite shades are, and subscribe because I make new videos twice a week. My channel has 2 videos on Thursday and on Sunday, 5 AM Central European time, and I really hope to see you in my next video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!